Hey guys, Dr. Joe Borio, founder of Chiropractic Consulting, and we're real excited today. We've got a big event coming up November 8th and 9th, and we're going to be in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to be at the beach resort, which is certainly not a bad venue. We got a pool, we got palm trees, we're overlooking the ocean. It's absolutely beautiful, and we're going to learn TIC. We're going to learn how to grow your practice, retention, communication, certainty, science. We're loaded with phenomenal speakers. CAs, we're going to do a CA training, and we also have Dr. Norm Colby, who's going to be doing some adjusting training. So we're really excited about that. One of our partners with Chiropassion that we're really honored to have is Aloha, or Review Wave, obviously, that has gone to Aloha, and we're really excited about that. We use it ourselves in practice. We have multiple clients in Chiropassion that use it. Absolutely love it. We'll talk about it more, but we have one of their top reps here, which is Jenn, and we're really excited to have her here, and she's going to share a little bit more about that, about the transfer, literally about why that benefits, and we want to talk about technology and bringing that into your practice and how it improves your practice. So Jenn, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dr. Borio. Great to have us here. We're very excited to talk about our new name and what that means, and then get excited for this event in Florida. No palm trees here in McKinney, Texas, but still very sunny and pretty. Our senior account executive, Keenan, will be out there enjoying the event with you guys.
Yeah, he's excited, right? He's fired up to be there with us.
Yeah. I mean, definitely there are some events where our guys say, "This is mine." They kind of grab it. And
oh, that's great. So, well, we're excited to have them here. Most of the reps that come, they're often pretty pumped when they leave about chiropractic, because you're going to get a lot of philosophy, you're going to get a lot of science, you're going to get a lot of communication, testimonials, the whole 9 yards. So you really walk away pretty pumped up. So Jenn, you represent obviously Aloha, formerly Review Wave. Like I said, we use it in our practice. So I'll turn it over to you a little bit. We want to talk about bringing technology into your practice and how that helps your practice, how that helps you grow, what that brings, simplicity, technology eliminating some of the remedial tasks that your CAs would have to do, which I find is phenomenal. So it saves you a lot of money, along with so many other things. So why don't you bring us a little bit of that and kind of lead us into why technology and merging that with your practice is beneficial?
Yeah, definitely. So again, I'm Jenn Denham. I'm our Chief Growth Officer here at now Aloha, formerly Review Wave. And just to kick it off with our rebrand, I think that many in the chiropractic industry know that our founder, Matt Prado, still our founder, still same founders, same team. We were not bought out. We're still the same company. But I think everyone would probably understand that we are now so much more than reviews. And so wanting to catch a new wave with a new name, Aloha, hello, goodbye, patient engagement, and our founder has some Hawaiian roots. So it was more than time for us to have a fresh new look, especially since we have some exciting new solutions that are coming out towards the end of the year, which Keenan will be talking about at the event, which is super exciting. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is just what is that modern patient experience in 2024, almost 2025, and then how can we elevate that with technology for not only our patient experience, but also for our staff. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quick here with you. And we can kind of talk through this too, because I know Dr. Borio, you use our solutions, and it's pretty insightful when you have someone that is using solutions and then can talk to kind of what the staff has experienced and then those patients. But really quick, can you see my screen here?
Yeah, great.
Great. So I want us to really think about, in 2024, 2025, we have our patients, I'm what they call a geriatric millennial, which is not kind, but I do remember a world in which, I didn't have a smartphone. I was the first generation of the pagers there. But now if you look around, especially when you're at an airport or literally anywhere where people are waiting in line or doing anything, they're looking at their phone, right? We live in a mobile, tech forward.
Totally. 100%.
And
100%.
Yeah, as we continue to have, more of the younger generation coming up, it's almost not should you have a lot of these, technologies to be able to let patients and new patients and existing patients interact with your business. But it's kind of like, if you aren't, you are definitely leaving people behind in revenue on the table. So as you look at this visual right now, I want you to think about, your practice and And the fact that, especially here in chiropractic, they're going to teach you so many things around being a rock star within the four walls of that practice, right? And how you can, improve that patient experience and everything that happens there. But for this quick little 15 minutes here, I want us to think about what happens outside of that bubble, what happens before they come in and when they walk out.
Absolutely.
And so the first thing we really want to focus on is attract and build confidence, right? That's what's happening before they come in. And then once they leave, how we're getting that to stick, how we keep them as they go about their day, right? Because I'm a mom, I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm telling you right now, the second I walk out of it, whether that's my chiropractor, my dentist, my optometrist, I look down at my phone and I probably have 6 or 7 messages about the kids and dinner and work trips, and everything we just talked about kind of goes down the priority list. So how are you staying top of mind?
Oh, we lost you. Hold on.
Oh, you got me back here?
Yeah, I got you back.
All right, awesome. So let's first, Dr. Borio, talk about before they come in, right? So what happens when people are trying to find your practice? And because we don't use the yellow pages anymore, we usually use a Google search of chiropractor near me. Now, even if people get a referral, which I know is an amazing tool to use, people who get a referral from a trusted friend or family member will still look you up. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%.
100%. Even if it's a restaurant recommendation, I'm still popping on Yelp or OpenTable to check it out. So
it's a blind date. You're going to check them out. No
I'm
doubt.
checking them out. I'm looking at, am I wearing heels to this restaurant or am I not? Is there parking here or not? So when someone's searching chiropractor near me or whatever they may search, what they're really searching is, who should I trust? Who am I going to trust to, help me with my health and with the pain that I may be having? Who is someone within my local community that has a local brick and mortar business that I'm going to trust? And so the first point that we need to focus on is, how are they finding you? Because remember, Dr. Borio, what do you think? How many touch points do you think a patient could potentially have with a practice before they're even standing in front of you?
Oh yeah, the old school used to be 14 to 16, so it's got to be 50, 80 touch points before.
Yeah, that's a lot, but I mean, it's definitely more than you would think and more than your staff is even thinking about. So for people that are watching this, here's a quick little action item. I love when, you have a great webinar, but there's nothing to tangibly hold on to. I'm going to challenge you to go back to your next team meeting and just do a consensus of your team and say, hey, how many touch points do you think let's just go with a new patient would have with our practice before they're actually standing in front of me, the doc? So when they Google us, when they see our information on the website, when they try to see if we service whatever they may be looking for, is that clear? Is it mobile friendly? Do we have reviews? That first Google search, chiropractor near me or whatever they search, do they land somewhere where I actually look like, from the local community, I am the trusted resource for this?
Yes.
And that's kind of your first social proof point for that potential new patient, right? So there's at least a few right there. Because what we're trying to do from the practice standpoint is say, choose me, pick me, I'm your go-to.
Absolutely.
And the way in which we do that mostly these days is by reviews, by seeing what other social proof is out there. If I click on this link, do I go to your website? Can I see that on my phone? Again, as a mom of a 6 and an 8-year-old, I'm mostly booking appointments, shopping on Amazon, and doing a lot between the hours of like 9 and 10:30.
Yes.
So if I love your reviews, if I see your website, but it says fill out this form or call to book an appointment, I might just move on to the next one so I can check that box done and booked. So let's really think about those things. When we land on the website, can I see the services that you offer? Again, booking that appointment. Is there a chat 24-hour attendant where I can put in simple questions like, do you offer this service, or do you service, pediatrics or kids appointments? If I'm getting a lot of error messages and getting circled in loops, or just being prompted to call during business hours, I'm probably moving on to the next one, right? That's not really where we live. I mean, almost any other part of our lives, whether it's restaurants or buying online or doing things for our kids, we could pretty much do that in a mobile friendly environment. So some things to think about here. Again, you are going to ask your staff in your next meeting, how many touch points do we think that, our new patients specifically would have before they stand in front of me? And then let's highlight some of those things, right? Your whole team's going to write some things down. What are potential points of friction? So, they land there, they don't see reviews. That may be a point of friction. They get to our site, but it's not mobile friendly. That may be a point of friction. They get to our site, they get all the way to book, and it says, fill out this form to request information. That's a point of friction. So how many points of friction are they running into before they're even standing in front of you?
Right.
Just such a great thing. Now, let's say we win. Let's say you're like, hey, Jen, we're awesome. We're a chiropractic practice. We know that ReviewWave, aka now Aloha, is a preferred partner, and we do all of these things. Great. Then let's focus on those no-shows. I'm a mom. I go on your website. I book an appointment. I, have it scheduled on my calendar. Now what? The next big point of friction is decreasing those no-shows. So what kind of confirmation texts am I going to get? What expectations are you setting for me before I get into this appointment? Are there common FAQs that I should know, like where to park or what to bring or what to wear? Particularly with new patients, the more we can bring down that wall of what to expect, the more likely they're going to show, the more likely they're going to feel comfortable as they walk in the door, and they're going to really start to feel that culture of care that you cultivate within your practice. So again, let's remember those touch points. Anything, Borio, you want to touch on that before I move on?
Yeah, a couple of things. When you say like points of friction, I'm also thinking like points of disappointment, because if they are a referral and they get called and they're excited, so they even have a higher standard or a higher expectation, and then all of a sudden they're disappointed they don't have this, disappointed they don't have that. The other point I wanted to make, which I think docs, we do forget, if you were to go to a party and not know anyone, a lot of people don't do that. We call it liquid courage. You go to the bar and have a couple drinks, loosen up, and and then maybe you get to socialize for most people. But so they're walking into a building they've never been in. They don't know anybody in the entire building. Many of them, maybe it's their first experience with chiropractic, right? And now they have to engage with somebody and maybe, change clothing or whatever, what have you, in order to have some tests done. So the amount of fear and stress that they present with many times is really high. In fact, if you think about it, sometimes it's amazing sometimes that as many people are willing to come into a building that they don't know anyone in. So the more you can handle on the front end, photographs, that's what I was thinking about, all the touch points, when they're going on your Facebook or your TikTok, and some people jump around from all those different legs, right? Your YouTube channel, the more they can touch, taste, if you will, and feel, the more comfortable, the more welcome, the more like Jen was sharing with us, the more you could share your community is so critical to allow that first experience to be a great one. And then obviously increase referrals, which is what I love about your program, your software, is that, it allows for all that. And what I also love, I know you're going to share with it, but the other part I love about it is it's not burdensome for the doctor. It's not burdensome for the staff. So it's a system that basically takes care of all that. So I'm not, or my staff isn't having to put a lot of labor in it. We can focus on what we're good at because everything else is already taken care of us for us.
Yeah, absolutely. As we go through the next few slides, I mean, the biggest thing that I'd want everyone to take away is just that this is not replacing staff. This is not replacing, anyone in your job. It's enhancing the busy work, right? In 2024, 100%. With especially a lot of talk around AI, we definitely don't see AI replacing people, but people will be replaced by people who are using automation and AI, right?
Yes.
So they can come to you and say, hey, I know how to manage reactivation campaigns and decrease no-shows and all of that with this software, versus someone that says, I'll come in an hour early to confirm all our appointments. You got to look at those staff members and say, who's actually really benefiting me and saving time and maximizing revenue for the practice? And you made a really good point when it came to review automation. And I think a lot of times we think about reviews like chasing those 5 stars, right? And wanting to have as many 5 stars as possible. And absolutely, that's a great thing that, one, here at Aloha, we can help you automate. But 2, it doesn't just stop with reviews. Obviously, if someone has some feedback, we can circumvent those things to get to your team so they can address them before that review is posted and not responded to. But I think the most important thing is, what are you doing with those reviews? So one of the things I'll send over to you, Borio, and you can disseminate to the group here, and I'll make sure that Keenan has access to this as well when he's at the event, is doing what we call a review audit, right? So it's also something really, really interesting. If you sit down with your team and you say, hey, before we have a team meeting, I want us to print out like the last 30 reviews that we got, the last 20 reviews you got. If you're a high volume practice, the last 100 reviews we got. We're going to quickly skim through them before we meet, and we're going to find some common threads that are happening here. Maybe you moved to a new location, you added a new service, you added new days. There's a lot that you can find as kind of the health score of your practice based on what people are saying in those reviews. So it is very important to generate more for that social proof and that trust as people are finding you and seeing those reviews. But it's also really important for you to look at the content and the copy that people are putting in those reviews and using that as feedback on how you can get better. I pull that parking issue from one of our customers who said until they really started looking at commonalities in those reviews, they were realizing, and their appointments were showing up late, that they hadn't guided anyone on the fact that their parking was behind a business behind them, and people were looking for street parking. And it's just these little things that frustrate people that don't bring them in, like you were talking about, with that trust, with that, great culture feeling of like, they took care of me. The office knew I knew to, allocate 10 minutes to find parking, that I could find a parking here. And this is what I should bring. So again, yes, so much happens before you actually land in front of you, the doc. And then again, so much great insight from the Chiropassion team of how you could just rock that experience and be that superhero for them. So let's say that here, the gal on the right, she just had a phenomenal experience, showed up, it was a rock star. And now we're looking at the person walking out. Again, the second we walk out, I guarantee if you ask your front office, people walk out the door, pull out their phone and look down on it like, what did I miss, right? And so we know it's so many priorities that people have. And obviously taking care of their health is very important, and the biggest, impact that we can have on them. How do we stay in front of them? And so those things come down to reactivation campaigns. We like to say if there's any paper you are printing in that practice, it probably should go into a mobile campaign, right? When I walk out of, really any appointment and they hand me a folder of papers, I promise you it's going right when I walk in the garage. There's a shelf right here of papers, and I will get to it, but based on priority, right? Yeah. If you're thinking about, there's these, follow-up, care instructions I want them to have, I would think with your staff based on, your patient demographics, your patient best, is this more applicable for us to maybe wait 24 hours and send them a text message where they could read it on their phone?
Yes.
If you did that to me, I'd probably read those PDFs again between the hours of 9 and 10 p.m.
Yes.
Versus looking at that growing stack of papers from my kids' teachers to work to bills, all of the things that sit there. So again, I just want us to think mobile first, tech forward, and let's not kill trees if we don't have to, right? So we can put things into an automated system, and we're more than happy for any of our current customers for you to jump on a support call and we can talk through like, hey, you guys seem to be printing this 15, 20, 30, 40 times a week. Let's turn that into an automated campaign by clicking a button based on that patient when they leave. That just goes to them at maybe even more an appropriate time than when they're walking out the door.
Yeah.
Additionally, those reviews, getting that feedback, not just chasing the 5 stars, but also what was that patient's experience? A really great exercise that another practice told me that they do is during their team meetings, I think quarterly or monthly, they'll take all their new patient testimonials and they'll bring those there. You've probably had patients that have been with you for 15, 10, 20 years, but what about that new bucket of patients, right? Like, what's their experience been like? What are they expecting? And how can we serve them better? So again, challenging your team to really use those reviews as more of a health score versus chasing a 5-star review. So that's really what I wanted to go over. High level here is just thinking about a few things. What is my patient journey? Again, sit with your team and talk through those touch points, both before they come in and when they leave. talking a little bit around what are those points of friction that we can really eliminate with automation and technology to help our team be able to focus on more revenue generating activities instead of busy work. And then what can I do to really support those referrals and those 5-star reviews? And what are those reviews telling us as a practice? So I'll send you some resources, just 1-page PDF worksheets that you could take to your team meetings. And Dr. Borio, you can share those with the team. What I have on here is if there is no one in the group that has not yet checked out Aloha, again, formerly known as ReviewWave, we'd love to have you scan this QR code and check us out. We're offering $1 for your first 30 days and waiving that launch fee because you are
That's great.
a partner with Chiropassion.
Yeah.
And happy to answer any questions I have. But Borio, I'll let you take it from here. What other questions do you have?
Well, a couple of things that, I just want people to take note of, which is what I love what you're sharing with, like you say, hey, I leave, I got paper. And most people aren't going to look at it, and some people never look at it. So I think we forget sometimes that we're overloading people with certain things, and there's a strategy that is more powerful, more impactful, more influential if that's what we're trying to do. So, like you said, hey, if there's some other content you want to share, and you just overloaded them with a bunch of information and experience, they're out, they got to do other things, to give it to them at another time. Oh, I got a message from Borio. Hey, it's about, again, stretching, rehab, and more information about chiropractic. Maybe it's something nutritional, whatever. It's a much better time, and they're going to digest it. It's going to have a much greater degree of influence on them. The other part of it is there's so much more. It's funny, you're talking about reviews, and you do so much more than reviews. I think of ReviewWave least about the reviews, as phenomenal as that is, because when somebody gets hold of our office, we could send them their new patient paperwork with a welcome text through review. We could send them video. So we do a series of welcome letters, like a campaign. We could send them a video for their birthday. We could do a recall with a series of videos. Like, there's so much that it does. And I love the idea when you said, hey, we're not trying to replace staff. I find that in a world where technology is king, there's nothing that takes the place of a smile, a handshake, a greeting, a warm face that is caring, especially in a practice. So what I love is my staff isn't stuck in a computer. They actually have, because everything's automated, they actually have the time and the low stress to walk up to you, Jen, and say, hey, Jen, welcome to the office. I'm Lisa. I spoke to you on the phone. I see that everything worked out. You found your way at the office. Did you get a chance to fill out all the paperwork online? Absolutely fantastic. Come on right over here. Have a seat. Can I get you a glass of water or anything? Nope. Give me a couple minutes. Let me check everything's up to date. I'll be more than happy to show you around the office. And Dr. Borio, I know, is looking forward to meeting you. Like, now I can have that moment when I meet you, rather than, somebody stuck at the computer, go have a seat over there. All of that goes away, which is really what creates a warm, welcoming, healing culture, which is what we want in a chiropractic practice. And Aloha does that. I mean, that's what it really allows for the practice, which is fantastic. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, our founders, came from the chiropractic industry, and they have their heart there as we continue to grow. And that's exactly the culture and the environment that we're wanting to support in the chiropractic industry. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Nothing kind of makes people's skin crawl more than when I still get them. How is that possible in 2024? When someone sends me something to fill out online and it's not mobile friendly to fill out. Like, if you're asking me to print something and write on it, it's not happening. And then if the first thing you do is hand me a clipboard when I walk into a place that's supposed to be of healing, I'm not starting off on the right foot. So there's so much we can do to just, again, make this process as seamless as possible, so your staff can really pour into your patients and get them to focus on healing versus just kind of silly, busy work with paper that we really shouldn't be doing at this stage anymore. So more than happy to talk to, anyone here that would be new with Aloha or current customers that are like, man, Jen, we haven't even turned on our activation campaigns, or man, we'd love to get rid of paper. Let's talk about that. We'll drop some links in here. And again, within your apps, you can always click on that button. It's not, a fake chat bot. It's real humans here in McKinney or in Irvine, and we're excited to serve you. And again, Keenan, our senior account executive, who you know well, will be at the Chiropractic event, and excited to show you some more fun things that are coming out very soon.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being with us. We're going to be in Fort Lauderdale November 8th and 9th. So make sure you hit the link above or hit the link below. Anybody new that is a non-Chiropractic member, it's $199. And that'll include your entire team. So it's $199 per doc, teams included. And it really, it's not a big sales pitch when we put our events on. You really are going to come get submerged with the culture, and you're going to walk away with a lot. So whether we resonate with you, whether you want to take that next step and be part of the family or not, you certainly are going to walk away with an enormous amount of information that you can plug and play in your practice right on Monday. And it really is an honor to be involved in partnering with Aloha, such a great reputation themselves and a great technology that I know we're happy to have married into the practice. And Jenn, you've been fantastic. Thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it, and look forward to obviously doing more communication and webinars for docs, but also looking forward to connecting in Fort Lauderdale.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Dr. Borio.
Yep. Thank you. Give me 1 sec. We're still live, Jenn. My tech is